right, so I quickly wanted to make a video answering poker riddle number 1, which is the WSOP wizard scenario. Basically, for those of you who didn't watch that video, and I'll put a link to it below, all of a sudden you met this wizard who, right before the WSOP main event, he buys you in and he gives you the ability to see every single hand a player has, right? You don't know what the flop is, you don't know what the turn is, you don't know what the river is, but you just know what your opponents have. And I basically said, how would this change your style of play and how would you approach the situation? And it's one of those things that's simple theoretically, but it's going to be a little bit more tricky in application. And some of you were so off, it's not even funny. Some of you were dead on, but most people kind of fell in between. But the core thing you need to understand about this riddle is poker is a game of incomplete information. There's a lot of stuff we don't know while we're playing. We use patterns and we use all the various information around us to make an informed decision about that incomplete information, right? And we hope that over the long run, our plays are profitable. In this scenario, it is not the case because we know what everyone has. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're never going to want to put ourselves into a situation where the flop, turn, or river can change in a way that we get knocked out of the tournament. We never, ever, ever want to do that. Which means early on, we don't, if all of a sudden if we have pocket aces and we raise and somebody shoves on us, we're just going to fold because we're not guaranteed to win. We want to reduce the risk with the game. So we're actually going to be playing a much more passive style. We're going to basically we're going to want to get to the river, look around the entire table, and be like, all right, I definitely have the best hand. And then try to come up with a way to extract max value. We're not playing really tricky poker in the beginning. Now, this is the thing. The dynamic does change because if you know what everybody has and you don't do anything stupid, like all of a sudden, go all in for no reason or try to push a player off a hand or try to bluff an opponent. I mean, this stuff doesn't make any sense. If you really just, watch what everyone has and maybe play a little bit of small ball poker, taking down a couple of pots, but never, ever, ever putting your entire tournament life or stack at risk, you're probably going to amass, if you're a pretty decent size stack. Once you have a decent stack and you know that no matter what, if you go on with another player, you won't lose, then you could start to widen the margin or widen the risk that's associated with the game. So let's say I had 450,000 in chips and someone else had $65,000 in chips, and he raises with like pocket tens. And I have pocket jacks. Of course I might go all in because I know I'm going to win 80% of the time, right? The risk doesn't really matter in that context. But that's after building or getting to the level where I have enough chips to withstand the variance in poker. And that's really the way you would play. I mean, some of you made some really bright comments about, you'd want to play a style. You'd also want to mix it up so people don't think that you're making these crazy reads and don't want to play against you. That's a really good suggestion. You don't want to play such perfect poker that your image is one that like people kind of shut down or think that you always have it, or maybe you're accused of cheating or something like that, some of you said. But basically you understand you need to play a passive style at first, and then once you're safe, you could start, getting more dynamic. And you would never want to put yourself in a position where you had all your chips at stake and you weren't guaranteed to win. Which is really interesting. So yeah, that's the answer. It's pretty abstract. Some of you that were on point, good job. Those of you who weren't, you got to start thinking about the constraints and think of things at more of a abstract level to answer these kind of questions. I'll answer the second one in a couple of days, and I'll have some more poker riddles coming up soon. There's some that are vastly more complicated that will definitely be interesting. Make sure you check out schoolcards.com/sign-up. I got some really cool stuff coming out January 1st. Something I've been working on for a long time is finally done. I'm kind of actually tired today because I've been working on it from like 9 o'clock in the morning till about now, and it's about 12:47. So schoolcards.com/sign-up. Thanks again. Any comments below?